Hello and welcome to the Animal Communication and Healing Masterclass. A couple of you did ask about how you get out of listen-only mode. And listen-only mode means you can see the videos. You should have seen the slide change, and you'll start to see the slides change as I move along. And so I hope that works for you. If any of you have any trouble, there is an email right on the screen here that you can click on. So I'm thrilled that you have joined me tonight. What you're going to learn today has the potential to open you up to a fascinating world of connection, magic, and spiritual growth through a path that's not only rich, but so much easier to access than you may have ever thought possible. It can truly change your life. As many of you know, I have a very special surprise on this webinar that I'll be sharing with you later. Let's take a couple of moments now to get centered and bring ourselves into the present moment. Infinite Spirit, Mother, Father, God, Ascended Masters, and Archangels, we ask you to be with us now for the purposes of this webinar and ask you to clear, ground, and center each of us. As we take 3 deep cleansing breaths, breathing in universal white light healing energy, we ask to release any cares, concerns, and any stresses of the day with each exhale. As we visualize ourselves in an imaginary circle together, we ask that we come together as one for the purposes of this learning. Here in the circle now, you receive your first attunement to animal communication and healing, connecting you to the vortex and aligning your energy fields with this work. Okay, that feels a lot better. Oops. I ask you to gift yourself this sacred space today. Give the training your full attention. Close up any other windows you have open and put your phone to the side, unless of course you're using it to watch the webinar with. Make yourself comfortable and allow the energy and magic of this training to permeate every fiber of your being. And be sure to stay with me until the end, because I have a Q&A session planned and I want to answer as many of your questions as possible. We have more registered here tonight than the lines actually hold, so if you drop off, you could have difficulty getting back on. There's a mindset I'd like you to adopt for today's webinar, and that is be open to possibility and any spiritual guidance that comes through directly for you. It happens often in my trainings. You're in the right place if any of the following apply. You yearn for a deeper connection with the animals and all of life. Your spiritual growth is of utmost importance to you. Or you're an animal lover and have a great passion to be of highest service to them and their people. You'll be able to apply what you learn on this webinar right away. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry about that, everybody. My throat was a little dry and I stuck a mint in my mouth and I choked on it. Not choked on it, I choked on the juices of it. So in the next 80 minutes or so, my goal is to open you up to the magical world of animal energy and to possibilities that you may not currently see or perhaps don't yet realize are possible for you. I'll share as much as I can in the time we have together. And then I promise to tell you about a fabulous opportunity where you can go further with me if your soul resonates with this material. Now a little bit about me, as I know many of you are new to my world. It was my late golden retriever Jigs who guided me back in the early 1990s to learn and master the art of animal communication and healing. Jigs came to me as a bouncy, 9-week-old puppy, but within a few short weeks was more often sick than not. Through trial and tribulation, I came to realize that I had to be the one to take full responsibility for his well-being, and in the process, figure out exactly how to heal him. It turns out that Jigs was with me by soul agreement, to nudge me towards my soul's deepest mission or greater purpose in this lifetime. And it worked. He guided me to learn animal communication and healing, not only to help him, but to help thousands of others worldwide. Over time, it became very clear that it was my mission to teach and mentor others in my methods. My passion lies in helping you attune and awaken to the spiritual wisdom that all sentient beings wish to share. When you awaken to this wisdom, it opens you up and transforms you so that you can make a bigger difference in this world. The information I'm going to share with you today is brand new, recently channeled by me, but is based on and developed from information I've taught previously to over 30,000 people in 52 countries since 1994. I'm the author and creator of Clairvoyance Mastery, Psychic Development Mentoring, the Animal Energy Certification Training Program, Money Manifestation Acceleration, the Psychic Business Academy, the Chakra Healing Clearing and Attunement Intensive, Healing and Understanding Your Animal Companions Through the Chakras, and many others. I've been frequently featured in TV, radio, and print media. In 2010, I was chosen as the cover girl for the 20th anniversary of Species Link, the Journal of Interspecies Telepathic Communication. That's the cover in the center there in blue. I got to where I'm at now because of a deep spiritual awakening. I knew that to fulfill my highest reason for being here on this plane, I simply had to follow my yearning. The same is true for you. Enough about me, though. Mastering the art of animal communication and telepathy is more important for you now than ever before. We're living in energetically exciting and rapidly changing times, and the animals, given the chance, are vital leaders perched at the forefront of our journey, ready and willing to not only teach us, but also to help humanity up-level, assimilate, and integrate the changing energies. Your path to partnering with the animals is so much more than just learning a new skill set. It's an initiation, a deeper spiritual awakening. Your animal companions, even those who are in spirit, are the keepers of divine information specifically for and about you, and are constantly offering spiritual wisdom and insight, if only you are open and able to receive it. Oh, and a commonly believed inaccuracy is that you have to be already gifted to develop your animal communication and healing skills. That is so not true, as evidenced by my students over the decades. Animal communication and healing is your birthright. The 3 paths to communicating with the animals and how to know which is the best and easiest path for you. After teaching animal communication, healing, and psychic development for over 20 years, I've discovered that there are 3 distinct pathways for students for learning and embodying their animal communication gifts. We're all extremely unique at a soul level, like snowflakes really, and each of us comes in with a unique frequency and aptitude for developing our innate gifts in a distinct way. That's not to say that you can't learn them another way, but if you want speedy success that's in complete alignment with who you are at a soul level, it's vital that you take the easiest and fastest route to getting there, your path of least resistance, if you will. If you've tried to learn animal communication unsuccessfully in the past, there's a good chance that you were attempting it through the wrong pathway for you. If not, you'd already be masterful at it by now. If you haven't tried to learn it yet, it's so much easier when you begin on the right pathway for you, the path that gives you confidence, success, and brings you accurate results. That will accelerate your learning and energize your practice. So here are the 3 paths, and as I share them, tune in to which you feel is your best path. Telepathy or interspecies telepathic communication. Telepathy is a feeling, perception, or experience transmitted over distance from one being to another without using any of our known sensory channels or any physical interaction. Interspecies simply means from one species to another. Telepathy doesn't always manifest in the form of words, though. It can also come in the form of symbols, colors, impressions, feelings, knowings, and more, directly from the animal to you. Think of telepathy like a phone call from your higher self to the animal's higher self. This is the path that animal communication is generally taught from, but because I also teach clairvoyance, psychic development, and healing, over the decades I noticed something interesting. My students seem to open up and have their animal communication breakthroughs in very different ways. Speaking to the animals through telepathy is our desired end result for most in animal communication, but it's not always the best way to begin, because if it's not your best pathway, it can be difficult to activate your gifts from this angle. Here's a story about telepathy. Years ago, I worked with a 2-year-old dog, Ocean, who had suddenly stopped eating and was starving herself to death. She'd been to the vet, and when he couldn't determine the exact cause of her problem, she was referred to the veterinary teaching hospital at the University of Guelph in Ontario, Canada. There, Ocean underwent a myriad of tests to no avail. Finally, her people informed the veterinary staff that they were going to consult with their animal intuitive. That would be me. The specialist simply rolled their eyes and gave them a good luck with that kind of look. I consulted with Ocean that very week, though, and the very first thing out of her mouth when I began the session in a very meek and mild voice was, "It's my duodenum." I was completely flabbergasted, as her info was so specific, and I honestly didn't even know what a duodenum was. I did know that it was part of the digestive system somehow from prior trainings I'd taken, but I had no real concept of its actual function. The next week, my clients went back to the hospital armed with the findings and again received a few rolling eyes and another "yeah, right" kind of look when they shared my findings. Imagine their surprise when during an endoscopy it was revealed that it was, in fact, the duodenum that was Ocean's problem after all. That was the beginning of her healing journey, and Ocean's people truly feel that the information I received from her was life-saving. Oh yeah, and the veterinary staff asked who I was and if I taught classes. It is important to note that animal communication is never a substitute for veterinary care, but it is a great addition though. The next path is through our psychic skills, which is different than through telepathy and includes receiving information in the following ways: straight from the divine, from our guides, the archangels and ascended masters, from the animals, angels and guides, or through channeling information from spirit, for example. Can you see how this is different than a phone call with the soul of an animal, where the animal tells us what they want us to know? It's more like a phone call with spirit or your guides. A great example of this is when my late golden retriever Jigs, who I mentioned earlier started all of this, contacted me during my sleep time one night, just a few days after he crossed over, to let me know that he wanted to help out from the spirit realm with a client's dog I'd been working on, Dylan. Dylan was elderly and refusing to eat, to the point of becoming extremely frail and in poor health. And as I said, Jigs came to me that night in my sleep time and told me that he could lend his appetite, which was huge when he was on the physical plane, by the way, to help Dylan out. Lo and behold, Dylan started eating that very next morning. Rather voraciously, I might add, completely surprising his people, even before I got to share Jig's message with them. The husband of the couple was actually in the bank with Dylan, and as the teller was cashing him out, or, doing his business, she said, "Oh, would your dog like a cookie?" And she was reaching for a cookie and gonna, push it across the counter for him. And he said, "No, he won't eat it." But at the corner of his eye, he noticed Dylan really perk up and look like he wanted that cookie. So he said, "Well, let me give it a try." And Dylan woofed it down, and I think he kept asking for more until he had finished the whole box of cookies at the bank. He was so excited. The third pathway is through our energetic abilities. This information comes through sensing and feeling. It's actually the kinesthetic or neuromuscular changes that happen within you as your body reacts to the information you are receiving. So we are able to access any information through the collective consciousness or universal wisdom this way. And when you ask a question, you're simply tapping into that energy, and your body reacts as it receives the answer. This is more like a phone call directly with the universe. How I figured this out was, in the early 90s, I trained in a healing modality called body alignment technique. It's an in-depth program that involves lots of muscle testing and dowsing. It's a form of energetic healing. As I worked through the protocols and began practicing on clients, all of a sudden, as I was checking through big lists of up to sometimes at 10,000 items for answers, all of a sudden I began to know, feel, and hear the answer within, way before I got to it on the list. Once I'd confirmed I was getting the correct answers, I was able to save myself tons of time. That's an example of using my energetic abilities. Interestingly though, it also opened up other levels of my psychic gifts. The route in was energetic, but it opened up my clairaudient, claircognizant, and clairsentient psychic abilities. Based on my 20 plus years of teaching, no matter which of the pathways is your best route into animal communication, what's fascinating to me is that as you focus on that specific one, it will activate and engage each of your other pathways so that they open up for you inevitably and naturally, each triggering the next, allowing you to receive accurate information you can trust and take action on. A current client recently shared, "It seems that by simply being aware of what my strongest mode of animal communication is, it opened the doorway to it. It now seems that all three paths are starting to come in more and more. I'm in awe of it all because I realized I had placed myself in this little box where I thought I could only communicate one way. Knowing the order of my three paths has been incredibly beneficial to me." So to recap, the three pathways are telepathic, psychic, and energetic. Just going to grab a sip of my water here. The number one skill you must master to expand your animal communication skills exponentially. The number one skill is actually a big energy ball of belief, trust, faith, and confidence, combined with a specific set of mindsets, all rolled into one. It's really the platform from which all animal communication stems. Why? The answer is twofold. Firstly, animals can sense your state of mind and state of being a continent or dimension away. And when you believe, trust, have faith, and are confident, that makes the animals so much more confident, comfortable, engaging, and talkative when they can sense this within you. It encourages them to open up and share their deepest thoughts and feelings, and also their highest teachings and guidance for you and humanity. Secondly, it sets the tone for you internally and allows you to become a beacon for picking up on any and all communications sent your way. And it allows you to simply trust those communications with every fiber of your being. Without this, you can completely miss important messages. So how do you do this? One of the easiest ways I know is to immerse yourself in animal communication. Live it, breathe it, feel it, and witness the proof of it in real time. To get you started, since we learn the best by story, I thought I'd share a couple more case studies with you to give you the experiences in your own energy field right now to ultimately trigger your own successful experiences as you move forward. And by the way, this works with every species. The stories I shared today are just some that come to mind easily. I worked with Lola, a Doberman, and when she was on the physical plane, she could sniff her human's moles and alert her as to whether or not they were cancerous just by smell. Pretty interesting, right? Even more interesting to me is that after Lola crossed over, she was still able to do this for her person, but this time she would do it telepathically through me in a session. I don't know about you, but I think that's very cool. I worked with Kendall Summerhawk, who some of you may know, and her beautiful Andalusian gelding Rio. And he was able to share his history prior to Kendall buying him, his likes, his dislikes, and how Kendall could communicate with him herself. In our sessions, Rio told me he wanted a very laid-back approach to training and gave me specifics to tell her about how to ride and train him, and even about how she could adopt a specific mindset, as well as the exact things to visualize when riding him. Because of this, their dressage training dramatically improved, and she shared with me that Rio became more relaxed and confident, and that she knows within that she's doing what he is most comfortable with, making them both happy. Here's another. I worked with All the Way Home, a talented racehorse in New York State who hadn't won a race in his entire career, despite exhibiting all the necessary speed, skill, and talent in his training sessions to do so. His practice times were very impressive, but he always ended up at the end of the pack in every live race. Despite the fact that he really did want to race, I checked in telepathically with him on that, of course. He also had issues with the racing day hoopla and really acted out in the starting gate on race days. And on top of that, he wasn't listening to his jockey either. In fact, he was so anxious in the starting gate, he relayed to me, that he used up all of his energy and therefore had nothing left for the race. After one session with All the Way Home, the day before a big race, I listened to him, counseled him a little bit, and offered him some energy work. And then I sent his people off with some specific exercises to do for him themselves and some very special instructions from him for his jockey. He ran his big race the following day at Belmont and won by 2.5 lengths. And even better, he was as cool as a cucumber in the starting gate and listened perfectly to his jockey. His people were thrilled, to say the least. They truly loved and wanted the best for this horse and wanted to see his talent shine. He wasn't a commodity to them as some racehorses are, but rather a family member they planned to keep for life. And I just spoke to Paul, his person, not that long ago about another horse. And Paul shared with me that yes, he is now, this was a number of years back when I worked with him, and he is now retired and living out his final days at their ranch. And he shared with me that the day that All the Way Home won this race after our communication was the most exciting day of his whole life. He was at the track alone, and he was so excited that he ran and hugged the usher because he couldn't see anybody else he knew. In the mid-90s, I worked with Quincy, a show dog, and his person Anne. We were on a television series called Going to the Dogs that aired on the Life Network in Canada and later on throughout the US. The series followed the lives of a number of show dogs as they tried to get points, win shows, and obtain their championships. Quincy could be challenging at times, and his person Anne was having a hard time getting his final points. We worked hard together, me doing the communication, healing, and energy clearing, and Anne following Quincy's desires as expressed through me and doing all of the showing. Quincy won his class and received the final points of his championship live on national TV. The key ingredient to confidently understanding your animal companions so you always know what they truly want. This might be surprising to you, but the key ingredient is the current status of your chakras. The health and well-being of your 7 major chakras or energy centers plays a huge role in the ease in which you learn and develop your animal communication skills. Chakras are energy vortices or portals located throughout the body and are the energetic vehicles for receiving, assimilating, and expressing life force energy. They can be described as maps of our consciousness. Since they are vital players in our psychic, animal communication, and healing abilities, it's important that we have an accurate reading of them and then work with them regularly to keep them aligned, balanced, cleared, unblocked, and attuned. That way we're primed and prepped to the highest degree to learn animal communication or any other psychic endeavor. Awareness of which of your chakras are out of balance is the key to aligning them. Most of you probably already know this, but the 7 major chakras and their corresponding colors are root chakra, red, sacral, orange, solar plexus, yellow, heart, green, throat, sky blue, third eye, indigo, and crown, violet. For teaching purposes, let's say that you've already tuned into the status of each of your chakras and determined that your third eye or brow chakra was your lowest functioning one. And the way you would do this is to bring yourself, you can do this later yourself, is to bring yourself into a meditative or healing state and then tune into your chakras one by one using any method you may currently know now to get a sense of their status and determine which ones you feel most need work. Again, you can try this on your own after the webinar. Interestingly, having a weakness in one or two of your chakras can directly impact the others. So let's do third eye chakra together now. I mentioned that we would just use that as an example. So you can use the following statement to clear it. I send indigo light to my third eye chakra and ask that it come into perfect balance, spinning in an appropriate fashion with any imbalances, blockages, and non-beneficial energies being released to the spiritual. And so it is. You can do the exact same exercise for any of your other chakras using the corresponding colors and, of course, do the clearings often. So to recap, having balanced energy and flow in all of your chakras is a key for you to confidently learn to understand your animal companions. the often missed animal communication energy secret that's a surefire way to accelerate your connection and accuracy. It's all about energy. Everything is energy. It's about how you carry it, how you run it, how you clear it, and how you balance it. All matter, emotion, and thought is energy and has a measurable energetic frequency that impacts animal communication. And each of our energy field gets bumped and bashed around through the course of day-to-day life. So we need to set some practices in place to bring ourselves back into balance, back to center. This is really important for our animal communication work because when we're off even a little, the information we receive from them will also be off. When we adopt the habit of grounding, setting our intention for what we want, quieting our minds, centering, and integrating our brain hemispheres, the level of our connection with the animals and accuracy in our communication rises greatly. We're going to talk about 3 areas here today: grounding, energy containment, and brain integration. Grounding is simply energetically connecting with Mother Earth. It makes us feel solid, peaceful, invincible, and very present in our bodies. It also enables us to connect with our animal companions at a much deeper level, as when we are grounded, the animals resonate with, trust, and open up to us naturally and willingly, and it becomes far easier for us to send, receive, and interpret messages and information this way. And one simple way to ground yourself is by going outside and hugging a tree and truly tuning in and allowing your energy to flow down into Mother Earth with the roots, through the roots of that tree. Interestingly, I worked with a Westie, Emma, who ran to the bathtub whenever there was a thunderstorm. The first couple of times she did it, her person Karen couldn't find her and had even thought she'd escaped the house as she was nowhere to be found, and I guess she'd never thought of looking behind the shower curtain. Instead, because she was scared, Emma instinctively knew that being close to the grounded plumbing pipes would make her feel better. The animals truly resonate with grounding. Energy containment. Animals are incredibly sensitive to energies in the form of our thoughts, our intentions, our emotions, and our feelings. It's important to develop, as an aspiring animal communicator and healer, it's important to develop a very keen awareness of your mental and emotional energy, not just your physical energy. If our energy fields are imbalanced in any way, we can get mixed, unclear, or distorted messages. So it's really important to strive to be present, aware, quiet, attentive, and grounded for best results. In 1997, my golden retriever Jigs taught me an interesting energy exercise around energy containment. I had renovated my new house to create a walkout to the backyard for him from my office, but he was nervous and suspicious about using it due to something that happened during construction and never wanted to go out that way. It was so disappointing for me as I'd fenced the yard and done all this work just for him. As a result of working with him energetically, he taught me what I call the pink bubble energy exercise. I've used it myself for years and teach it in all my trainings, and I'm going to share it with you now. The way I would do it in this case was I would walk out into the backyard. I would open the door, which used to be a window, and I had renovated into a door. And then there was a little landing and a few stairs down. And so I would open the door and go out the landing down the stairs, and I would be in the yard, and he would be standing inside the house looking at me, not wanting to come out. So what I would do is I would visualize an 8 to 10 inch beam of pink light coming out from my heart center or heart chakra. And I would visualize it going over to Jigs and completely encompassing not just his entire body, but his entire energy field. So, maybe a 3 foot, extra around him. And then I would visualize through this beam, sending him everything he needed to trust coming out that way, to feel comfortable, to, reduce his anxiety and really put him at ease. And sure enough, he would come out the door. And this is an exercise you can use for things like loading horses on a trailer, taking dogs to a vet. You could use it for getting a horse to cross water. There's all kinds of things. You be creative with it, because it can really. Oops, sorry about that. I just knocked something over on my desk. You be creative with it, because it can really be used for so many different things. Okay, now we're going to talk about brain integration. So we have right and left sides of our brain, as you can see in the picture here. And I want you to think about your energy field for a moment. I want you to think about your energy field, so that each of your energy bodies or components of your energy field, like physical, etheric, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, fit nicely over top of the other, like Russian nested dolls. And then I want you to imagine aligning your energy from side to side, so that your brain hemispheres are equally balanced. This is a really desirable energetic state for both us and the animals. We're better able to receive and interpret the information we get from them in this place, and the animals will find us much more approachable. And a quick little tip here is you can balance your brain or integrate your brain hemispheres simply by tying up shoes. Okay, so one of the issues when we got rid of lace-up shoes and got into Velcro to make it fast for the mothers is a lot of the kids never really learned that, and it was a very important part of their brain development. I worked with Angus, a standard-bred racehorse, for his person because he was having trouble in his training. She wisely decided not to tell the trainer that she was working with me, as he was not at all open to animal communication or energy healing. And when I tuned into Angus, I could feel immediately that the hemispheres of his brain were out of balance. So I balanced them, among other things, in our session. The very next day, the trainer came running up to the house to tell my client, "I don't know what's up with Angus, but his problem is completely fixed and he's doing great." She just smiled to herself, thanked him, and rushed inside to share the good news with me by email. So to recap, the energy secrets we covered today related to animal communication are grounding, energy containment, and brain integration. How to open and manifest your psychic and energy reading gifts through the animals so you can use them in every area of your life. When we learn animal communication and healing, we're embarking on an initiation and deeper spiritual awakening. Think of it as an up-leveling of your consciousness and a step further along your spiritual path. An animal's role is to help raise our consciousness and advance us spiritually. So as we work with them in this capacity, opening up our psychic intuitive gifts, simply a natural part of our progression. The animals tell me that the future of animal communication is so expansive that we've currently only just tipped the iceberg on the depth and vastness of what they have to teach and impart to humanity. The more we open and expand, the deeper they will take us. They also tell me that sooner or later, all of humanity will communicate with them and all of life, and true oneness will prevail. My role is to help you remember who you are at a soul level, reawaken your skills and talents so you can know and own what you're capable of. Also to inspire inner knowing, trust, and transformation. What's exciting about this is that once you are initiated into the magical world of animal communication and healing, you come out the other side different, healed, and with heightened awareness. It's the nature of this. And because of that, you also trigger the opening of your other psychic and energy reading gifts, so you can use them in any area of your life or the lives of your friends or clients. It's universal law. I absolutely love this. Lives are transformed when we're firing on all of our psychic cylinders. So you begin with your best pathway in to animal communication, one of the three I talked about earlier, and then that triggers each of the others to open up in the order most suited to who you are at a soul level. After that, as you start practicing and residing in the frequency of this work, you start to notice your gifts beginning to work in every area of your life: relationships, health, business, financial, etc. The benefits of learning this skill are truly exponential. Here's an interesting story. I worked with a wonderful veterinarian, Sarah, and she had a deep relationship with a racehorse, Karma. Karma sadly ended up crossing over due to a racing injury, and Sarah was devastated. A few years later, Sarah had a similar deep relationship with another horse, another racehorse, Spirit. Both were mares. Spirit sustained a very bad injury, a broken pelvis, and Sarah was heartbroken and felt Spirit would have no quality of life if she stayed on this plane, as the x-ray showed the bones clearly 2 inches apart and 1 inch down. So medically speaking, there was really no hope. Sarah couldn't face keeping her alive to leave her in a stall in pain forever. Spirit had other ideas, though. She told me that this was Sarah's time to step up into her healing abilities in a brand new way, one she couldn't even comprehend at this time, and prove to herself that she was a capable, brilliant healer. On one hand, Sarah didn't want to believe me, but because she did believe in animal communication and the connection I had with Spirit, and had actually taken all of my trainings at that point, she gave it everything she had. Lo and behold, against all odds, Spirit got better to the point where she could live an enjoyable horse life, not confined to a stall. In fact, she got so much better that years down the road, she was able to have a foal. And wouldn't you know it, Nikki, the reincarnation of Sarah's other love, Karma, was born to her. And by the way, I just want to give a little side note here. To do animal communication successfully, you do not have to believe in reincarnation. I certainly do, and I've worked with a lot of it, but it's not mandatory. You can put all of the information you've learned here into practice right away. But to get to the magical place of mastery in your communication, where you can help your animal companions and others, and step into a place of true knowing and trusting, you're going to want the rest of my proprietary tools, techniques, and systems. I've just shared the tip of the iceberg with you when it comes to animal communication and healing. There's honestly no way I can do a topic I've been practicing and studying for decades any justice in a short webinar. We are going to jump into an extensive Q&A in a couple of moments, so please hold tight for that and get your questions ready. Don't answer them until I tell you. I'm going to give you a couple of instructions. Earlier on, I mentioned that there would be some of you who know at a soul level that this is your calling, and that you have an absolute burning desire to experience more. So I've created an amazing opportunity for you to do so. It's my Animal Energy Certification Training Program, the most exciting and comprehensive program I've ever offered, a combo of animal communication and healing. It's so much more than just straight training, though. It's more like a spiritual evolution through the animals. It begins with 3 individualized readings that I do for each of you. Because we're unique, as I mentioned, at a soul level, knowing your unique energetic makeup is like a rocket launcher for you, catapulting you towards your animal communication and healing gifts. So you'll receive a Discover Your Unique Path to Animal Communication assessment and report, where I tune into you at a soul level and determine how your innate animal communication and psychic gifts currently manifest and the best way you can further develop them in this program so that your best and easiest pathways are clearly revealed to you. You'll receive another reading, an intuitive chakra report, where I tune into you one by one and prepare a detailed report so you can see which of your chakras most need clearing to enhance your animal communication skills. And you'll receive my proprietary energy protocols to use to do the clearing. You'll also receive a hand-picked animal totem. Your totem is your partner, helper, and ally for opening up your animal communication gifts. Perhaps even the first being you'll ever communicate with. So you receive these 3 readings by email, and then there's the main training. I'm thrilled with the results this program is creating for my students. In putting it together, I selected everything I know you'll need physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually to be successful, have communication and healing breakthroughs, and learn to truly understand and help the animals. Whether you want to do this for your own animals at home, help out a rescue, or take it out in the form of a business. So first we lay the groundwork. You'll know I'm pretty big on groundwork because we talked about quite a few aspects of it today. So you'll have a lifelong foundation to springboard from. We'll prepare you and your energy field for doing this work so you're ready to have great results on all levels. It's during these 2 phases that the energetic alchemy begins. Behind the scenes, my team of non-physical beings goes to work on you, and you begin to shift and open up to a new world and way of being. Then we get into the animal communication and animal energy healing section. You'll learn the secret language of animal communication, the how-tos, procedures, and tips to catapult your psychic opening. We'll cover all the basics as well as many more juicy topics like spirit communication, reincarnation, soul contracts, animals as teachers, healers, and guides for the soul, distance healing and communication, energy imprinting, ethics, the death and dying process, and so much more. So you'll be well versed to embody each and every angle of the magical world of animal communication. You'll learn my proprietary animal energy healing system for determining and clearing energetic blocks in any being, including yourself, so you can understand, help, and create dramatic shift and positive change for the animals. This system has been known to produce miracles. In this segment, you'll learn and master a technique that will enable you to confidently tap into collective consciousness and receive answers to any and all of your questions. From here on out, so you'll never have to doubt yourself or your answers again. I go very deep in this section, pulling the best nuggets from my decades of training. Next, we'll do real-life case studies together, and you'll work with plenty of practice clients on your own. So you know exactly how to heal and clear the animals and experience the magic of doing it yourself. You'll have a private, exclusive, 24/7 online community forum of amazing family, so you always have the answers, inspiration, and support you desire. I'm on it myself all the time, so no question will go unanswered. I'd be remiss if I didn't highlight the magic. There's a magical world you enter when you join the Animal Energy Certification Training Program. Students share over and over that magical things just begin to happen to and for them. This magical alchemy begins for you at the time of your commitment to the training. This program is right for you if any of the following apply. You are a complete newbie and don't even know how to spell the word chakra. We've had great students like that who've turned into these phenomenal communicators. You're an advanced psychic or healer who wants to add another dimension to your craft, or if you're anywhere in between. I've amassed an amazing group of highly supportive individuals in this program, from chiropractors and veterinarians to very advanced psychics and healers to lay people who are brand new to this world, and all are benefiting. Whoever you are, you'll feel right at home as a member of the Animal Energy family. This program is unlike anything else you will find anywhere, guaranteed. It is delivered step by step through audio, video, handouts, meditations, worksheets, and checklists. So whatever type of learner you are, we've got you covered. On top of all that training, you'll get these valuable bonuses. This is the surprise. The special surprise I mentioned is that this week only, when you register for the Animal Energy Certification Training Program, you'll also receive another program of mine called Meet and Manifest with Your Spirit Guides. A 5 audio programming guide. You'll receive that absolutely free, and that's a $297 value. This is the time to jump in if you've been thinking about it for a while. You'll receive unlimited access to my comprehensive animal communication and healing audio library. This library contains such an abundance of training, it could easily be a standalone program for the same investment as this entire program, and it includes my award-winning 5+ hour Healing and Understanding Your Animal Companions to the Chakras program, amongst many other trainings. You'll receive open coaching and Q&A calls twice a month. These are the gold in the program, where you get to hop on the phone with myself and the group and ask whatever you want, so you know that you're able to understand, integrate, and implement the training material and address anything really that comes up for you. And you'll see that it says 12, but there's already a huge vault of archived calls that you get access to, over 60 of them on top of the calls you get with me. So you're actually getting 72 hours minimum of coaching and Q&A. You'll receive downloadable recordings of every call, which is priceless. If you miss any of them, you'll receive the valuable program information as they'll be recorded, and you can submit your questions in advance. So in this training, there are 10 modules designed to be completed in 5 to 12 months, but you have a full 2 years to do so. So you can stay in this training for a full 2 years. Certification is optional. Some students take it simply for their own interest and growth, and others love the benefit of being able to use a name that's highly regarded in the industry, one that I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars promoting since the early 90s. Here's a peek inside our learning portal. You can see the lessons there, and you can see the coaching and Q&A call page and the animal communication and healing library. Those are all just tabs that you can click onto when you're on the site. You can start the training program immediately. You'll receive close to instant access to modules 1 and 2 with all program details when you enroll. And then during business hours, you'll receive the rest of the goodies. The great thing about this program is that you work on the modules yourself at your own pace whenever you have the time, and then we come together for our coaching and Q&A calls over the course of 5 to 12 months. So you're fully immersed in all things animal communication, and don't forget you have up to 2 years. This program is awesome, but don't take my word for it. We are jumping into the Q&A in just a couple seconds, so hang tight for that. Here's what Brandy had to say. After listening to and watching the first and second lessons, I understood why the universe led me to this course, and I couldn't be more thrilled. Sending heartfelt thanks. This aligns with every fiber of my being. Professional animal communicator and psychic Jean Guzzetti said, "Your animal energy certification training is amazing. I've taken other courses in psychic development and animal communication, but they lack the depth of content, knowledge, and experience you share. I wanted to let you know how happy I am." Karu Makaguchi said, "I love this course. I've taken other online courses, and you give us so much value and are truly knowledgeable, generous, and I feel your genuineness in truly wanting us to understand everything and to succeed. Thank you very, very much." And finally, animal communicator and healer Deborah said, "I absolutely love this course. It speaks to my heart. I find it engaging, yet challenging enough to push me outside of my comfort zone and explore new ways of communicating. The regular investment in the program is $1,997, but your investment today is only $897. That's an $1,100 or 55% savings. And you can save an extra $100 when you use the coupon code SAVE88 and register before midnight Pacific time tonight. I'm going to put the URLs in the chat box for you. There they go. So I've just entered them in the chat box. One of them is for the full pay, which is the best deal, and the other is for the budget-friendly easy installment plan. You'll also see the coupon code right in there for your additional $100 off when you register through midnight tonight. Oh, one thing I should mention is please note that for the installment plan, there's no need to enter the coupon code. As long as you register by midnight Pacific time tonight, your $100 savings will automatically be credited on your final payment. This massive discount is one time only for the next 4 days, and also includes that Meet and Manifest with Your Spirit Guides training. And that, and it's one time only until midnight Pacific time tonight for that extra $100 off. After that, it automatically goes back up. When you click the link, the price will just be the price that it is then. We do take all major credit cards, and if you wish to use PayPal at this time, it only works for the full pay option as far as I understand. There is flexibility to begin whenever you want, but to receive your $1,200 savings, you must enroll by midnight tonight, or to receive your $1,100 savings, you must enroll within the next 4 days. It is a one-time offer for those of you on the webinar. Okay, let's jump into some Q&A. So one of the things that I want to share is when you enter your question into the box there, I think you should be able to see where to enter it, hopefully. Try not to make it too long. On GoToWebinar, for some reason, they give me this crazy little box to look at the questions in. And if you make it too long, as I scroll up, it just doesn't work and I can't really get to it. So let me just open the questions and see what we got. Okay, a couple people lost audio. Hopefully. Natalia said, I missed the beginning. Will there be a replay? Yes, Natalia, you should have the replay by probably within an hour and a half or so, an hour and 45 minutes, you'll have the replay. We have to wait till it downloads or transcodes or whatever. So you will get that, and you can listen to it tonight if you want. I think it's good for 3 or 4 days or something. Maria says, sorry, I'm a little late. That's absolutely fine. Someone whose name is not showing up says, do you have any recommendations for gemstones or essential oils to deepen meditation practices and bridge intentions, communicate with the animals? Yes, there's tons of them. There's so many. I'm just trying to think. Celestite is amazing. Celestite is really good. It's a fabulous one for communication. So is Herkimer Diamond. I use so many crystals and gemstones, it's not even funny. So some of them are slipping my mind. If you want to deepen meditation, you might want to use something like Peace and Calming or something, an essential oil blend like that. When I wrote one of my first website ever, I've been doing this since the early 90s. And when I wrote my first website, when hardly anyone even had a website, I didn't know what to do. And little did I know I did it all in one day. I went into my dining room and had a little ceremony and burned some smudge or whatever. And then I anointed my crown chakra with frankincense, and I literally channeled my entire website. It was amazing. And I was having people, writing in going, oh my God, I read what you wrote and I was in tears. And so you can use many of the oils. Frankincense is a really high frequency, high vibration oil. There's so many. We get way more into that in this training and some of my other, I have lots of other trainings as well. Teresa says, do you have in-person seminars? Teresa, I used to years and years ago, but my clients are in 52 countries. And you know, what I found is even though people want to do in-person, trainings, they can't all necessarily get on a plane, get a dog sitter, rent a car, pay for a hotel, and come to my seminars. And I find that when I used to give in-person seminars, what I felt was that people would have this great experience while they were there, and the energy would be all high and everything would be going great. And then after they left, it would just dissipate so fast, and they weren't residing in that energy as they weren't residing in the energy the same way that I feel this is immersion. You can stay in this for 2 years. That in itself is phenomenal because it lets you live this life. It lets you connect. You'll find that some of your best friends will be in this training. We have so many people who have made amazing friends in this training. And you'll have like a family that understands you, that you can always call upon. So it's a different kind of thing. So I will also state, because a couple of others, somebody else asked, Shell asked, do I ever have seminars in person throughout the country? So I do occasionally offer up VIP days, which are private days with me, where you can either do it virtually from wherever you are, or you can, we can do it by Skype, or you can actually come to my home in Northern Arizona and do a day with me. But I will tell you the investment is higher than it is in this training program. And what I suggest to people, if they're thinking about that, is that they do this program first and then come and do that. You'll get more bang for your buck. Oh, Jennifer says, all of the Q&A calls are live, Jennifer. And then as a bonus, we give you the archived ones to listen to, so you can download them onto your phone or whatever and listen to them while you're driving on holidays or to work or whatever, wherever you drive, or listen to them in your bed or whatever. So the Q&A calls are all live, where you come onto the phone and everybody asks their questions and I answer them. You have a lot of my attention in this program, more than most programs at this investment. Even I know of another program and it's 14 times as expensive as this one. So you have a lot of me for your investment. Melinda says, how do I begin communicating with my pets? The very best way would be to join our training. If not, I would just try to go through what you learned in the webinar and just keep plugging away at it. But our training really gives you the shortcut. You have to figure everything else out yourself, that I figured out since 1994. It's I think it was 1993 that I began. So it's like, something like, how many years is that? That's like, man, we're getting up to 30 years, 25 anyways, 27 years or whatever I've been doing this. I don't know. So it's not just something I can answer in an hour. I tried to give you guys a little bit of a scope for it. So yeah, I hope you can come into the program. That would be the very, very best. So what is the typical fee that animal communicators charge for their services? That's from Jennifer. So Jennifer, it ranges. It really does range. I think some of my students who have just recently certified and got their own websites are charging maybe 120, 150, in that range. You could probably find some charging less. I would be very hesitant to hire an animal communicator who's charging $25 and is willing to do a 10-minute session. I personally, in my sessions, tune in with the animals for half an hour prior to even getting on the phone with them. And then I phone them and I record it, and I do all this great work, and my fees are quite up there, but I've been doing it for a long time, and I've been teaching it since the early 90s as well. So I just will share this with you. If you're thinking that you want to do a business with this, depending on what your business skills are like, because it's really all got to do with your skills. It's not a matter of just creating a website and waiting. There's things you have to do to bring the business in. But I brought my business to 6 figures in the worst recession the United States has ever had. And, if it came the choice between eating and paying your rent or mortgage and having a session for your animal, most people would rent or, pay their rent or mortgage and eat. But my business rose. There is a huge demand for this if you know how to market yourself. Okay. And you can easily make a 6-figure business doing this. I know others. Okay, this is a question, Pam's question. She has a Yorkie that is very attached, that her husband is very attached to. The dog does nothing but bark at me and acts as if he hates me. I love dogs, and this dog is sometimes hostile and cold to me. I get along fine with my parrot. Do you have any insight as to why this is happening? So what I'm sensing is a huge jealousy. The dog is, kind of partnered up with your husband, and he knows you're your husband's partner as well. So there's a bit of a jealousy, but what I want to say is this situation can be worked on. There's things that you and your husband can both do energetically for yourselves, and there's things you can do energetically for the dog. And there's, if you are by any chance able to come into this training, Pam, there's like so much information in the training. There's the chakra work, there's work with crystals, there's work with color, with flower essences, there's work with just the clearing, the energetic clearing. The animal energy system is going to be the key. It is about probably at least 2/3 of the training, which takes place, most people do it in about a year. So it's something that would take me 3 or 4 months to go into, but you would benefit so much, as would your babies. Okay, Alexia says, how do animals feel about people eating them? And I'm going to answer very quickly. Most animals do not have that big a problem with that. It's more about how people treat them that makes them feel bad. I once had a communication with a cat, a client's cat, that had been killed and eaten by a coyote in Sedona, Arizona here. And that cat shared with me that it was the most ecstatic, wonderful experience. It was kind of like birth, but it was a whole different scenario than I would have ever thought. So it's more about how animals are treated. Oh, Karen, I'm so glad you asked this. Karen asked if there was a test for certification. So I wanted to talk a little bit about certification. First of all, there's no charge for certification. In your investment in this training, certification is included. That means all the work we do on your behalf. I've actually taken programs for a lot more money than this and had to pay an extra $350 to certify for the instructor's time and energy. So there isn't a written test per se. What you do is once you complete Module 10, then you have to do, I think it's 6, I'm pretty sure it's 6 case studies, and when you do those case studies with 6 different people, 3 of those people can be culled from this group and 3 have to be outside of this group. They can't be students in this group. And then when you finish the sessions, they go online, the people you've done the sessions, we give you lots of instruction on how to set this all up. They go online and they fill out the information online, they do it in private. So that is how we do it. There's no written essays or anything like that. But we ask that you don't do any of these clients till you finish Module 10, because these modules, each module builds upon the other, and you won't necessarily, I don't want you to do them till you have all the info, that you need. Okay, so let's see, moving right along. I'm just keep the questions coming if you have any. And there's no name here. Most of them have a name. Will this enhance Reiki energy as well? I currently administer to my fur babies. Oh, so sweet. This program is so different from Reiki, but what's really cool about the Animal Energy Certification Training Program is that it was designed to incorporate other modalities. So if you're a Reiki practitioner or any other practitioner, you can actually bring those modalities into the animal energy system. And it is phenomenal to have other modalities. So many of my students come into this training with other modalities. We do have veterinarians come in, we have chiropractors, we have people in traditional Chinese medicine. We have Reiki, body talk, all kinds of different things. The emotion code practitioners, we've got a lot of different people who are doing very well with it. Natalia is asking about private readings. We have a number of readings available, Natalia. I'm going to ask you, if you want to talk about readings, to email my team at clientcare@lynnmckenzie.com, just to keep this on track for what we are working on here. And you can be given all the information on the myriad of readings that we have available. Okay, so Kellyanne is saying, can you please tell me what caused my 7-year-old dog and baby Nalu kidney failure? Please, she is why I'm going to take this training. Well, first of all, I'm so sorry to hear that, Kelly. My heart is with you. I know what it's like when our babies are not well or crossed. You didn't say if she had crossed. But you know what? I feel like she was exposed to something. I don't feel like it was your fault, but I feel like she was exposed to something, and something toxic or noxious, some kind of noxious substance that it may not even be known that would have caused kidney failure, but I really feel that there was something that happened. It was sort of like a premature situation. And I want to share that so many people come into this training with number one, having lost an animal companion, and the experience they have in this program is phenomenal because there's so much so much support. And some people come in when they have elderly animals that are getting ready to make their transition. The support in this training, we have most of our certified graduates are still in the forum and still help out. We have so many people helping out in the forum. So when you need help with your animal companions, this is a really good way to get it as well. So again, my condolences to you, or my sympathy with you for dealing with that, whether she crossed or not. Cynthia, I have so many questions, I can't get into major depth. Cynthia says, I hear the animals speaking to me on the few occasions I have communicated. Which path is that? So right off the top of my head, it can be interesting because some of them can kind of overlap. So until I actually spend the time and do that reading for you, it sounds off the top like the telepathy or telepathic pathway, but we all use each of the pathways. So I would have to tune in completely to get that for you. Carol is asking, can I say or write the affirmation for clearing the chakras? Carol, you are going to get a replay, which is great. So on that replay, you can just pause it and write that down if you want to. Okay. So Vanessa says, do you ever work with animals that are being used food? What has your experience been with that? I don't work with them specifically, and I have had some experiences with it. And really what's most important, most animals really teach us about the circle of life. Most animals that were born as carnivores would never, ever, ever switch from being a carnivore given a choice in this world. It's not only are the enzymes in their stomach not meant to be to digest something different than what they were born for, but it's also their teeth. They don't even have the teeth. So, oh, I see that you left. Okay. So I'm not going to finish that because you've left. M.O., I'm not sure who this is, says, thank you. What do you suggest? I'm skeptical about chakras. Okay, so I can tell you that if you research chakras, they are one of the oldest. They have been around. If you Google chakras and when chakras were first discovered, you will find that they were discovered like in the 15 or 1600s or something like that, or 1800. I don't know. They've been not the 1800s, way before them. Entire forms of medicine, like traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture, is based 100% on the energy field, on meridians and chakras and all of that. Ayurvedic medicine, so many major forms of medicine are based on them. So really what I would say is, if something drew you to this program, to this free webinar, and I would tune into that and know that if you want to know and feel more about that and get more of this connection with the animals, I truly feel like this is your opportunity to learn some really new things and experience. All I can tell you is there is not even 1% of my energy that would ever believe that chakras do not exist. They are just part of everything. Rashawn says, are there practice sessions with animals? 100%. You guys, I have you practice every single lesson. I have you practice things. And there's also a huge self-healing component to this training. So, if I'm not saying you specifically, Rashawn, but if someone was ill right now or fighting, off something that isn't very nice or whatever, and there's a whole component in this program. I had one student write me a testimonial after she finished her training, and she said, while I decided not to pursue animal communication, there was such a huge personal growth and spiritual development component that it was just amazing for me. So yes, you guys practice all the way along with the animals. You do your 6 case studies, and then I have some practice sessions where I actually demo what goes on. So you kind of get to learn from me as well, and you can kind of go along with me. Loretta says, is hands-on massaging good for animals, and will it release any toxins from their bodies? So I think it's good if the animal likes it. I mean, if the animal is in fear and isn't enjoying it, then it wouldn't be good. But if an animal wants it and is asking for it, usually they'll even move and show you which part they want you to work on. It'll release toxins within their bodies. The only way they'll come out of their bodies is through water. If they drink enough water and they're able to release them. I teach some energy techniques to help the animal clear the toxins that you have released into the body in this training. Maddie, your question, I'm going to ask you if you would write clientcare@lynnmackenzie.com. You'll see it in the chat box where you can click right on it, or you can copy it down from below. Down below, you have to copy it and make sure you spell both of my names correctly to get the right person. Someone said, I feel your energy is abundant via webinar. Perpetual, thank you. I don't have your name, but I appreciate that. Jean is asking, can I email my questions? If you have questions, Jean, the best thing is to ask them here. We can get 100 emails a day asking for things, and we can't always keep up with that as well as our work. Oh, Celine, I'm so glad you asked that. Just so I understand correctly, after 2 years, you lose access to the site. No, the way it works, anybody who registers for this training will have long-term access to the training material. So much of it is downloadable. I know that a lot of trainings don't allow that because people tend to send it to other people, etc., which is actually against the law. But you will have long-term access to this material. What I mean is you have a full 2 years to certify. And honestly, if you write us and, ask for a little extension, as long as we're still working in this, direction, we will give it to you. We're really pretty flexible about things. But really, the reason I put a limit on it is because I don't want someone to come in 20 years. I mean, I'm 58. I don't want someone to come and calling me up when I'm 78 saying, "Hey, I'm ready to certify now." So we put some parameters on it, but no, you'll have long-term access. Once you complete this training, you can go through it 2 and 3 times. And I have students who have done that. And I'm telling you, there's so much to learn here that you will benefit by going through it at least twice. So I'm glad you asked that. Okay. Margie, I see your question. I'm going to ask you if you would send your question to clientcare@lynnmckenzie.com. There might be something they can do for you there. Okay, I'm reading Lorena's question. I was giving a beautiful baby palm rescued from a hoarder. She suddenly became quite ill and we rushed her to the animal hospital where she died. The next morning, my husband and I cried at this sudden loss and inability to save her. How do I recover from this strong feeling of loss? Want her back? I know the feeling, Lorena. I know how traumatic and heart-wrenching, and there's not even the right words to explain how we feel when we lose an animal, especially suddenly like that, when it's one that is just our heart. And what I will tell you, and this is from personal experience and working at this for decades now, connecting with her spirit on the other side. I didn't set out to specialize in this, but while I was doing working mostly I am single, so just so everyone knows, I'm single and I have supported myself solely on my own business all of these years. It's not like I, have a husband paying the mortgage and whatever. I'm my complete support. So I want to say that, and then I want to say that while I was working with people, my specialty sort of became the death and dying and connection in the afterlife. Sort of, that's what people gravitated to me for that. On my Facebook page, we get into a lot of that kind of thing. If you could come into the training and learn to communicate with her yourself, would be the very, very, very best thing for your heart. And if not, perhaps have a reading for her. But honest to God, the one thing I hear so much from my clients is how much peace they feel after they have a session with me. And I've had rock stars with long hair and tough kind of guy rock stars bawling their eyes out on the phone with me from losing a kitty or whatever. Margie says, I resonate to this calling as well. Yay. Jane says, if you have 2 years to complete and know you won't be able to start for a year or so, you are able to get conference calls for 2 years. What you will get is you will definitely receive the recordings. I don't know if you don't start for a year, I don't know that there'll still be new conference calls in 3 years. Let's just say that, but there may very well be. I mean, it's my plan to be, but I would say you already know you're getting 72 calls. I will tell you that in doing this for as long as I've done it, the questions that come up, other people are going to have the same questions as you. And, even if you're not going to start, you could always listen to the calls too. You could start listening to some of the calls just to get yourself in the energy of it while you're driving or, in your evening time or whenever you have some spare time. Sue says, I have chronic illness. Will that prevent my success in this program? Here's the thing that I want to say, Sue. There is such a huge self-healing component where you actually, my animal energy system is like bringing up it's like your body is let's say your body was a computer. So we go into your body, we go into your soul, and we ask your soul what it needs to release to bring you the most health, or what an animal's soul wants to release to bring them the most health and well-being. And on all levels, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And then we clear that. And then we bring up the next thing and clear it. It's kind of like peeling an onion. So you would have that exact process. So you may want to focus first with having chronic illness on self-healing and clearing and the personal development and the spiritual growth. And then secondary on the animal communication. There are kind of some facets to this training. One is the animal communication. Another is the animal energy healing system, which is perfect for self-healing and perfect for healing any other being, human or animal. And then there's the personal growth and there's the spiritual development, and all of them come into play. And you can focus more on one than the other, in your first go round. Okay, Beth says, if you're a person who doesn't see images when you meditate, I see outlines of things, then I zoom in and can't see the softness of a face, or I see geometric shapes or letters. Would I be a good candidate for this training? 100%. Being able to see that is already your clairvoyant skills starting. And you don't have to even be able to see anything to do this. Everybody comes into this and has experiences a different way. Okay. Selena said, I had some success with dowsing lost animals, but I'm having difficulty communicating with my personal dog who is ill right now, and I feel the diagnosis isn't correct. This would be a perfect training for you to help you with that, Selena. Lawrence says, can we keep the training course when we are certified? Yes, you can have access to this, especially if you download it. Once you download it, you're not getting certified to teach it or to train it as a trainer in this modality, but you are certified, and you receive a logo to put on your website. We give you a certain title you can use and all of that. And then if we ever start certifying teachers, you guys will be the first ones to know. Oh, Celine said, does it cost extra to get certified, or is it included in the course? I think I already covered that. It doesn't cost extra. It's included in your investment. I've spent on one training up to $350 to get certified. So that's half your investment in this training. Jennifer says, you mentioned energy healing lessons on this course. Is there any specific modality, Reiki, etc.? The modality is called animal energy. And it's a modality that I put together. It's not remotely like Reiki. It's sort of like what I mentioned. Wow, I think we've got a lot of questions. I'm noticing these questions are from 6:05. I better get motoring. Oh my gosh, I never thought we'd have this many. So yes, it's not remotely like Reiki. You can meld it with other modalities. We have a way within the animal energy system to account for other modalities you may have already be certified in. So can you do this via distance healing? Yes, 100%. Every single thing you're going to learn can all be done over distance. Okay, how do I schedule a session for my puppy? If anybody wants to know anything about readings, email clientcare@lynnmackenzie.com. It's both in the chat box and below. Okay, let's see. Someone's giving Shubham, and my pet's name is Smiley. Welcome to both of you. Kim is giving me a heart. The chakra question skepticism belongs to M. Susan. Okay. So Susan, I hope I helped you with my answer. I am somebody who has a really open mind, and I believe in learning, and I don't believe anyone should take what I say as gospel. I believe that all my students should question everything I teach them and see if it's right for them. But I guarantee you, once you're in this, you'll find you're going to learn so much, and you're not going to doubt anything or question anything or be skeptical. Maria says, is it possible to send a mental message to a dog that is lost, even if you're in another city? Yes, even if you're in another continent. You can do all kinds of things with them. It's 100%, 100%. There's many techniques. There's many techniques. Selena, I saw that you mentioned you had success with, helping herd dynamics, etc. I think you said herd or pack dynamics. I deleted it before I saw it. That's amazing. And this training helps you to be able to clear past things from their past, the before they came to you, or in the years, like let's say you have a 5-year-old dog. If you can clear anything from a past life, from the gestational period, and from the current life up to their age now, whether they were with you or not, you can clear all kinds of things. You can help them heal, help them release all kinds of energies for all kinds of things. Diana, I'm feeling like environmental allergies. Sharon is asking, why is her 16-month-old Doberman so scared of other dogs and so soft? That is partly your dog's personality. I feel like it's partly a growth stage. It's partly personality, and it's partly something that can be morphed and worked on and can change. Okay, Shelly left. I think I'm going to go to the bottom of the list for a second. Maria says, amazing. Okay, Cass says, I am a sound healer and I have attempted to use acutonics tuning forks on my dog, and he always growls when I use specific forks tuned to the frequency when it's near his brachial or heart chakra. What would you say is the cause of his resistance to this healing sound? Well, if you put it near to the chakra, I feel the cause is that particular one is just blowing his circuits a little bit. I mean, not all animals can take all kinds of healing work. We have to learn to read the animals and see what they can take and be extremely sensitive to their fields. For example, cats, hands-on healing and cats can just about do them in sometimes. So, okay, I see one that says, please help Ingrid, but I'm not sure what you want me to help with. Okay, let's see here. Loretta's saying, so it's important to have your chakras in line and working right before you can really tune in with the animals. They don't have to be working perfectly, but it's important to be working on them. That's why I do the chakra report, and then you have an idea, and then you can learn to do your own. Someone said, thank you for answering my question. It also showed me that you were really alive and made you trust you even more. Yes, I'm here. Okay, let me see. I'm trying to get to some people whose questions I haven't answered. I have so many questions. Let me just look at the time so I make sure our thing doesn't. We're gonna have to wrap up fairly soon, and I've still got. I'm so sorry. I didn't expect we'd have these many. Gretchen says, I know there are messages coming to me from animals, both domestic and wild, and that a couple of my animals are back. They are a gift, and I'm not sure what I meant to learn or share from this and what I can give back to them. All I can say is it's a magical experience. It's a complete magical experience, and I hope you open to them and give them the most you can, and help others with your gifts and all that. Jean says, I'm certainly going to work on my chakras and read your books. At this very moment, I'm embarrassed to say I don't have any books because I've been working so much for so many years. I've never written a book, but I will. Okay, so let me just keep looking at these questions. Okay, so let me see. Oh, Maria. Okay, there's Maria. Okay, let me keep going.
thank you for answering my question. I've been ignoring my own connection to energy. That chakra is a pathway, brought tears into my eyes. You know, there's a reason why you came to this, all of you. There's a reason why you came. Sally, I'm going to ask you to email my team, clientcare@lynnmckenzie.com. If any of you guys are wanting to register, something I didn't say before, if any of you are wanting to register and we haven't gotten to your question, or you have a question about how to do it, or you're having any difficulty, when you email my team at clientcare@lynnmckenzie.com, please include your phone number and maybe what's your time zone. So, you know, if my team needs to call you, they can, to help you. Because you know they're on standby to help you out. So Maria is saying, how long is the course and how much does it cost? So the program is between 5 and 12 months. It's up to you, and you have a full 2 years to stay in it as an active student, but you have long-term access to it. You'll pretty much have like lifetime access to that. So let's see. Got so many here. I'm so sorry. Selena says, and this was a wonderful webinar. Thank you for offering this and accepting. Are any animals easier to communicate with others, especially in the beginning? That's Melinda. So Melinda, yes. And it's different for everybody because we're all so unique, and the beings we're communicating with are so unique. So, you know, you may have a real affinity for horses, and so horses might be easier for you. You may find cats really difficult, but the next person would find cats the easiest. We're so unique, and then you may find working with animals that are on the physical plane is easier than connecting with animals in spirit. Other people, you know, and other people will find it the opposite, and then other people will find communicating with animals who you're in person with is easier than communicating with animals over distance. So let's see. Okay. Still got so many questions. I'm sorry, you guys, that I just can't get to all of them. I'm trying to like find some in here. People. Okay, Joanne says, having worked with communicating with animals, has any bad spirits come around? Some good souls with some good intentions may attract some bad sources. Has your experience ever seen this? Not for me, and not in my training, because I don't set my students right into I don't set my students right into these realms without being properly prepared. That's why I'm so into the whole foundation and the whole preparation. That is so key and important. Ingrid, is you wanting me to tune in with your Yorkie, Trixie? I have a Yorkie too, a puppy who's crying right now. She's in her X-Pen because I can't trust her out while I'm on a webinar, and she's a 2-pounder. To get into that kind of depth with Trixie, it would have to be done via a reading, and we have a bunch. Oh, Tiffany is asking. Tiffany, the very best deal, which is the one you're asking about, is till midnight Pacific time tonight. Okay, that's for the extra $100 off, and then other than that, that brings if you do the full pay, that brings it to $797. If you do the payment, if you do the full pay, it's $897. And everybody who registers, you will get, or you know, you'll see in the emails, it'll give you the dates and everything. You will get the Meet and Manifest with Your Spirit Guides program. You can email my team if you have any more questions about that. Oh, Melinda said, I'm a ghostwriter and have written several books about horses. I would love to talk to you about helping you do a book. You know what, Melinda, if you would reach out at clientcare@lynnmckenzie and just put in the subject line that I asked you to, and then my team can forward me the email. I'd love to. My life is very full, but I have like 5 books inside of me. Susan says, thank you for this webinar. I will try to sign up so I can better communicate with my canine partner and be a better team. We do search and recovery. We have had other people in that field, and I'm going to say just sign up. Don't try. There is no try. There is only do, as I think that was from Star Wars or something. I don't know. Okay. Oh, okay, so let me just see. Okay. I think, okay, we are going to run out of, the webinar is going to practically end on us. They only give you so much time. So I thank you all for coming. I know your time is valuable, and I love that you chose to spend it with me. In closing, I invite you to go to the URLs in the chat box right now, and you can see them on the screen, and join this exciting transformative program. I want to share a very powerful mindset with you. If you desire it, you can create it. Being ready is never a place in time. It's a decision you make. If the Animal Energy Certification Training Program resonates with you on any level, then there's a part within that deeply desires to expand, up-level, and hone your skills to experience a magic that truly honors your highest potential. Honor that part of you by making the decision that you're worth it. I invite you to say yes. Yes to yourself, yes to your transformation, and yes to the Animal Energy Certification Training Program. I so look forward to interacting with you at a much deeper level inside the program. Again, go to the link in the chat box now and sign up. You will be receiving a replay probably within about an hour and a half. Thank you so much again for being here today. Abundant blessings, everyone.